What's up, guys? This is Chris from draftdashboard.com. Here are my DFS picks for MLB Wednesday, May 24th. These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you don't miss our new videos. In this video, I'm going to go over my top picks for today's MLB slate. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made. Okay guys, we have an 8-game MLB slate tonight. Cooled off just a little bit yesterday. I knew that would happen when I said our picks are on fire. Always happens. We did have a couple of good plays though. So let's get into this slate here at the pitcher position. A couple of pitchers I like. I'm just going to go ahead and pay up for one of these studs. I like Bryce Miller. I like James Paxton. But between the two, I think I'm just going to go with Bryce Miller. He's pitching against the low-salary batting team, the Oakland Athletics. Bryce Miller only giving up a .353 OPS versus lefties, .302 OPS versus righties, facing 5 lefties, 4 righties. The Athletics have only hit 2 of his last 16 pitches to 125 batting average. So Bryce Miller, $10,900 FanDuel salary, $800 less on DraftKings, averaging 40 fantasy points per game on the season, has an ERA of 1.42, record is 2-1, pitching an average of 88 pitches per game. So I like Bryce Miller here versus the Oakland Athletics. Okay, let's take a look at the catcher first base position. So I got a couple of plays that I like here. First one is Adley Rutschman. He's got a 41% batting advantage over Nestor Cortes. Adley Rutschman batting a .798 OPS versus lefties. Nestor Cortes pitching his worst ball by far to switch hitters. 42% worse than his other pitches, giving up a 1.150 OPS versus switch hitters. Adley Rutschman is 5 for 9 here versus Cortes. It's a .556 batting average and a 1.223 OPS. So Adley Rutschman, $3,400 FanDuel salary, $1,600 more on DraftKings. Averaging 10 fantasy points per game on the season, scored fantasy points in all 5 of his last games, has a batting average of .270. So I like Adley Rutschman here versus Nestor Cortes. Now if you're looking for a value play, take a look at Freddie Fermin. He's got a 70% batting advantage over Matthew Boyd. Freddie Fermin batting 31% better versus lefty pitchers, batting a 1.333 OPS versus lefties. Matthew Boyd pitching his worst ball versus righty batters, 39% worse than his other pitches, giving up a .860 OPS versus righties. So the splits are fantastic. There's no at-bats versus Boyd yet, and Freddie Fermin, only $2,700 FanDuel salary, $400 less on DraftKings, averaging 11 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored fantasy points in all 5 of his last games, has a batting average of .281. So I like Freddie Fermin here versus Matthew Boyd. Before I continue with the picks, I'm excited today because we added a new contest for everyone watching. If you want to enter the drawing for $25 PayPal, all you need to do is like this video, hit that subscribe button, and make a quick comment below to be entered into the drawing. We'll reply to a random comment and let you know that you won. And then we'll send you $25 PayPal. So it's that easy, and we pick a new winner every Saturday and announce them in our video. So get your comment in now so I can add another entry for you. Okay, let's take a look at the second base position. I like Jake Cronenworth. Another value play here. He's got a 19% batting advantage over Trevor Williams. Jake Cronenworth batting 4% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .688 OPS versus righties. Trevor Williams pitching 15% worse to lefties as he does righties, giving up a .822 OPS versus lefties. So Jake Cronenworth is 1 for 1 here versus Williams. That one hit was a triple. Only $2,800 FanDuel salary, $1,400 more on DraftKings, averaging 9 fantasy points per game on the season. Now, only has a batting average of .215, but it looks like he's been heating up, scored fantasy points in all 5 of his last games, scored 31 fantasy points last game. So I like Jake Cronenworth here versus Trevor Williams. Okay, let's take a look at the third base position. I like Justin Turner, probably my favorite pick on the slate. Take a look at this. Justin Turner batting 21% better versus lefty pitchers, batting a .900 OPS versus lefties. Tyler Anderson giving up a .855 OPS versus righties. Now I like this pick because Justin Turner is 18 for 36. That's a .500 batting average and a 1.437 OPS versus Anderson. 3 home runs, 5 doubles, 10 singles, and that is a huge sample size, batting .500. And Justin Turner, only $3,000 FanDuel salary and only $700 more on DraftKings, averaging 10 fantasy points per game on the season, scored fantasy points in 4 out of his last 5 games. 2 of those were monsters, 25 and 35 fantasy points, has a batting average of .267. So I like Justin Turner here versus Tyler Anderson. Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all of our DFS tools for all sports. You can try the Position Optimizer, where you can see the top players ranked for each position. And we added a new Player Trends tool, where you can see the top salary differences between FanDuel and DraftKings. It's a really good tool to help you pick out value for the site that you're playing on. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups. Okay, let's take a look at the shortstop position. Now, just at first glance on FanDuel, this price is way too cheap. Take a look at Xander Bogaerts on FanDuel at $3K. He's got a 19% batting advantage over Trevor Williams. Xander Bogaerts batting 34% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .826 OPS versus righties. Trevor Williams pitching pretty good versus righties, only giving up a .696 OPS versus righties. But Bogaerts is 1 for 1 versus Williams, and at only $3,000 FanDuel salary, just seems way too cheap. Now he is $2,100 more on DraftKings, but I still like the price. And his fantasy points per game is 10, averaging 10 fantasy points per game on the season, has a batting average of .261. So I like Xander Bogaerts on FanDuel especially here versus Trevor Williams. Now if you're looking for a value play, take a look at Enrique Hernandez. He's got an 18% batting advantage over Tyler Anderson. Enrique Hernandez batting a little bit better here versus lefty batters, batting a .654 OPS versus lefties. We know Tyler Anderson giving up a .855 OPS versus righties. Now, Enrique Hernandez is 7 for 32 here versus Anderson. So that's only a .219 batting average, but he has a .937 OPS. Because 2 of those are home runs, a triple, and 3 doubles out of those 7 hits. So when he does hit the ball, he hits it pretty well here. So Enrique Hernandez, only $2,700 FanDuel salary, $600 more on DraftKings, averaging 8 fantasy points per game on the season, scored fantasy points in all 5 of his last games,
has a batting average of .236. So I like Enrique Hernandez as a value play here versus Tyler Anderson. Okay, moving on to the outfield position. Lots of outfielders that I like. Home run hitter Aaron Judge. He's 8 for 7 here versus Wells. .471 batting average. Already has 3 home runs. 1.530 OPS. So he's in a smash spot here versus Tyler Wells. But if you're looking to save a little bit of salary here, let me just rattle off a few names. I like Jared Kelenic. I like Anthony Santander. And I like Lane Thomas. So, really like all 3 of those guys, but let's go ahead and go over Lane Thomas. He's got a 96% batting advantage over Ryan Weathers. Lane Thomas batting 37% better versus lefty pitchers, batting a 1.037 OPS versus lefties. Ryan Weathers giving up a .775 OPS versus righties, does pitches worse ball versus righties. No at-bats versus Weathers yet. Lane Thomas, only $3,000 FanDuel salary, $1,100 more on DraftKings. Averaging 11 fantasy points per game on the season. Scored fantasy points in all 5 of his last games. 3 out of those 5 over 22 fantasy points. And he has a batting average of .294. So it looks like he's on fire and his price is still low. So I like Lane Thomas here versus Ryan Weathers.
If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this MLB slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.